So we're heading into the last map of this group stage. This time fire is spawning in the bottom left corner of Twisted Meadows, starting with the altar first here. No power build by the human player, and LiiLD.C in the top left, starting with altar first again. This time playing the Ancient of War at the mercenary camp, so going for the biggest but at the same time riskiest possible Ancient of War creep that at least within the range of standard play that he could go for. And we'll see what fire is going to end up choosing to go for here. I mean, we can expect, of course, an AM by him. For LiiLD.C, perhaps even a Warden with this big creep camp early on. Gonna keep a close eye on what his hero choice is going to be. And it is the Warden, so yeah. Showing that he can go, you know, off the very much preferred Demon Hunter at the time. Whereas Fire is going to go for the AM again, obviously. Just Archer being produced. Fire scouting towards the right hand side first, so he's not going to be aware of LiiLD.C's greedy creeping early on by the time it happens. So once he knows, he's going to know about it, it's already going to be too late, so LiiLD.C should be able to get this one safely. LiiLD.C in the meantime scouting towards the right hand side first as well, so neither of them is going to find their opponent too quickly. AM is going to spawn in a second. And so is the Warden. Creep camp begins here. LiiLD.C making a bit of a mistake here. I think he took one hit on his archer, so he needs to really pay attention here, because usually wow, usually you can afford you know, tanking the bolts of the rock golem with your archer and then surviving with like 5 HP ish, but in this case it's not gonna happen. But I think as he pulled the rock golem so far away, he's not going to throw any more boulders at all, so it's basically the same damage he's taking there. Fire in the meantime is just going for his lab nevertheless, so not going super economically here, camper styles, but creeping the lab as usual. Greater mana potion for the Warden, perfect item for her early on, and a Cloak of Shadows, not as perfect, but you know, given the other item, LiiLD.C is certainly going to be pleased with the outcome of this early creeping. Fire is just building a tower here. I'm not quite sure if this is going to end up in a serious attempt of a tower rush, or it's just going to be, you know, for scouting purposes. 4 footman out, 5th footman coming. He's getting defend upgrades, so this is certainly not going to be just a one base tech play, but as it appears right now, since he's heading towards the bottom of the map, we're probably going to see a fast expansion by the human player. Tower finished. And LiiLD.C is staying tier 1 as well, adding a second Ancient of War and a Hunter's Horse, so we're gonna see mass tier 1 here against probably a fast expansion. Then again, Fire still needs to show that what he's doing currently is making sense in some capacity. Or is he actually gonna end up pushing here? But against mass tier 1, against double Ancient of War, I think chances of a successful tower push are rather limited. And he's actually attacking here, so okay. Perhaps on the fly deciding to change strategy, I'm not quite sure. But a very, very late tech for the human player. And LiiLD.C, oh, he doesn't have boots actually, so is there dust? Yes, there is dust. Using some moon shoes, going for another shadow strike. So I guess he's going to skill blink here eventually, just to make sure the AM cannot chase him down. And he's just slowly wearing, or at least trying to slowly wear down that AM with shadow strike after shadow strike. I mean, there is the greater mana potion, so he's not going to run out of mana on his Warden anytime soon. Blacksmith added. So we're gonna see Riflemen and probably casters on the side of Fire, trying to combat these mass hunts that he's rightfully anticipating. Blink coming in a little bit too late, but I think the one of the range units there did the last hit for LiiLD.C, whose Warden needs to pay attention here. He's actually going, well, he's skilled already, but he's going for the town portal here, not for the blink, so perhaps he did skill Fan of Knives already. And was that worth it? The answer is probably clearly a no. But, well, now he got rid of his TP. First two hunts are out. I mean, at this point, LiiLD.C is going to try and keep the pressure up on Fire's units. He certainly is not going to allow, or he's going to try not to allow Fire to go for any sort of, you know, to gather a significant number of riflemen, a critical number of riflemen, so to speak, which he would love to do. And if he ends up getting away with it, then the mass hunts are going to have a very difficult time. But at the same time, LiiLD.C is finally taking as well, deciding not to stay on tier 1 here forever. But for the time being, Fire is the one under pressure here, who needs to at first hold off this pressure. Next water metal is being spawned. A bunch of militia are being gathered, and actually he did skill blink. So I'm wondering why he didn't use it. He may have been on cooldown because he blinked in on the null. So that might be a reason why he used the TP. So one more footman falling here. Looks like that one was denied as the warden didn't gain any additional experience. LiiLD.C for the time being has been pushed back. First rifleman not yet being produced. Mountain King second is coming, as well as the Arcane Sanctum. And I guess we'll soon see the first rifleman being produced as well. But Fire is still struggling to deal with this pressure, and it's not going to get any easier once this warden reaches level 3, which is soon going to happen, probably with this footman. No, he wasn't tier 2 yet. No, okay. I thought bonus XP from tier 2, but as it is, that's 40 XP, which means he's 1 XP away from level 3 on the warden. And yeah, Fire is really struggling here. Bolt onto the warden right now, though. Level 3 has been reached, and I think he's gonna have to use blink to get out of there, so no mana currently for his first level 2 Shadow Strike. The Mountain King is chasing. He did get a bit of speed passed already, so it would be quite great if he could force the warden to use the mana potion here. But I think the warden is too far out of range, and yeah, he's going to get to those movers quite easily without the MK being able to throw the bolt. Naga second, bought by LiiLD.C, clearly shows that he's planning on keeping up the pressure. The Mountain King is coming in. Fire is going straight for that Naga. Does the warden bring a Staff of Preservation? Yes, she does. She's coming in from the top, but is she going to be in time? There is another bolt available, which is... I think the damage out of it wouldn't have been enough to do anything, but, you know, hurt the Naga a bit more, but not kill it. But still, LiiLD.C showing some nice micro here, coming in with the warden, dodging the bolt. Using Clarity Potion right now, chasing after this AM. He does have the mana for a blink. He dodges the bolt here and not kills the AM because he's using the town port, but very nicely done, blinking forward, dodging the bolt. LiiLD.C really showing off here. And this AM is still going to fall, so things are not exactly looking particularly great for the human player here. Fire is pulling back with his Mountain King, pulling back with his first 2 socks. He actually has added a second Arcane Sanctum here and still didn't add any Rifleman, so his damage output against the Hunts is basically only going to be Heroes and Water Elementals, and against the Dryads that will eventually follow, he's going to have a pretty difficult time, you know, dealing with them, because he's not going to be able to slow them, and he's not going to be able to deal all too much damage against them without Rifleman. So I'm pretty surprised about the second Arcane Sanctum by the human player, who is committing a lot here with his militia. Warden is blinking behind them. The Mountain King does not have any more mana for another bolt. The Warden is slowed though, fortunately for Fire. Next, Sword gets a Shadow Strike here and is probably going to... no, Priest is there, so not going to fall due to that. But militia duration is over, so these guys have to get to the back here, have to get to the town hall again to, you know, get back into militia shape. Level 2 on the Naga already. One hunt gets taken down here. Let's quickly check what's happening here. Or tier 3 even coming in immediately. Double lore finished already. Abolish magic is being researched currently, and the first 2 Dryads are on the field. And as you can see, Fire does have level 2-1 on his heroes against 3.5-2, and he only has casters and heroes and militia. And now adding the range upgrade for the rifleman, so he has to add rifleman to have something against Dryads. Otherwise, LiiLD.C can just get 6 Dryads and Shadow Strike, Fog Lightning, Focus Fire, all of the casters down one by one. And thanks to the superior movement speed of the Dryads and the low damage output of Fire against those Dryads, he should easily be able to, you know, outrun any damage output of Fire. And at the moment, that's exactly what we're gonna see here, because Fire thus far only has a bunch of casters. The first of the hunts has fallen. Fog Lightning is coming in. He's even going for the Mountain King. Is he gonna get it? The Warden does not have mana for both Blink and Shadow Strike, so he decides not to go for it. 2 hunts have fallen already, but yeah, as you can see, look at how quickly these casters are falling. Fire has to fall back here. And he's actually getting a workshop here. I'm thoroughly confused about the strategic choice here by Fire. Perhaps he's just trying out stuff because the match doesn't matter anyways, but still doesn't really reduce my confusion. So Fire at 41 supply, he still hardly got any XP out of this one. 45 supply for LiiLD.C, who's adding his first bears right now, and who's just staying close here. He seems to be quite happy with his with the levels he's got right now, and quite happy with the levels that Fire doesn't have. So all he wants to do currently, as it appears, is just stay in touch, make sure that Fire doesn't creep anything, and add the first bears, and then eventually engage. Yeah, now Fire is pulling the creeps again. As we can see here in LiiLD.C's vision, he sees quite far, even though it's night, so he clearly did research Ultra Vision already. And who's gonna get the Warlord? It looks like LiiLD.C is not even gonna contest it, blinking in, but too late. Fire did get it, ensnare on one of the bears, or you know, Druids of the Claw, which cannot change into bear shape right now. So that's pretty unfortunate for LiiLD.C, who may have made a mistake there, attacking the militia instead of seriously contesting the creeps. But alright, that's what we're gonna have to work with right now. And LiiLD.C therefore is gonna have to fall back. He only has 1 bear right now, and one of his strides has fallen as well here due to the 2 ensnares that these troll trappers threw at him. So this is perhaps giving Fire a way back into this game, adding the first mortar team. He's basically playing the 2 base unit mix just off of 1 base. And it's gonna creep his natural expansion right now, we'll see. I don't really think he can afford taking the risk economically to go for a tier 2 expansion, at least at this point. But perhaps he's going to prove me wrong. Level 3 on the AM right now. MK is going to get close. AM is staying away from this creeping. Naga level 3 and Warden level 4 already, so finally Blink for only 10 mana instead of the 50. Which is going to make Shadow Strike even more annoying. And more bears are being added. Fire at 50. LiiLD.C has already broken into low upkeep. MK, as I said, getting closer and closer to level 3. And he's already getting it from here. Whereas the Naga continues creeping here as well. Still no orb on that Warden, which is a bit surprising. Perhaps he feels that at this point he doesn't really want to invest into an orb, because currently with the MK on the field, especially, this Warden is quite the fragile target, and she's always going to be focused and forced into the back of her own army, and the orb might not be contributing as much as it would on a Demon Hunter, but still, I mean, only a couple of hits is so effective, so maybe he's gonna get it now. Getting a TP. And maybe he's gonna wait for the gold to get an orb. Continues creeping. Naga getting closer to level 4 slowly. So are DMK and DM. And Spell Shield. Perfect item. for fire to work against the Shadow Strike. And it looks like LiiLD.C now is going to be the one to look for the fight once again. He does have 1-0 upgrades on his Bears and his Dryads, level 4 Warden, who did pick up the Orb, and level 3.5 Naga. Next Mortar Team and Breaker are in production here, 2 Breakers even. And Fire is pulling the Town Portal. 1 heal score, 1 invo potion for him as well. He did keep the spell sheet on the Mountain King for the time being. So we mask on the Mountain King as well. So quite nice items there for Fire, who's marching forward with his Mountain King, bolting the Naga. First time the spell sheet has been triggered right now by LiiLD.C, and he decides to pull the Town Portal here. Does not want to fight against the Militia, against everything of Fire basically. He's losing 1 bear here and the TP, and it looks like Fire is really back in this game. 58 supply against 57. He's got the somewhat well-rounded army, which, you know, usually you'd want to have some more supply of, but he's got good items, he's got somewhat decent hero levels. And LiiLD.C doesn't have as much tanking power as you'd usually want to have with like a DH Panda, for example, with these 2 very fragile heroes, but he's got great damage output. So some hit and runs like this are certainly going to benefit him. Pendant of Energy for Fire, who apparently solo grabbed this with his Mountain King. Level 4 on that one already. Does he, yeah, dodge the bolt? So LiiLD.C once again showing off some nice micro. Once again, the Shadow Strike is not coming into effect for the Warden, but the Mountain King is still taking so much damage, but so is the Naga. There should be a Staff of Preservation available though. At the same time, Invo Potion used by the Mountain King. The next bear is coming in. He cannot really use Rejuvenation currently though, as the Breakers would just steal it onto the Mountain King, which would be terrible news for LiiLD.C, so he's staying away from any usage of the Rejuvenation currently. He's just trying to go for the Mountain King kill. The 2 Mortar teams doing a bit of damage onto the Dryads here. The Warden at the same time blinking away with 26 HP. As I said, there's very little tanking ability on the side of the Night Elf player. So still a bunch of breakers standing here. Level 4 on this Naga. The Mountain King has to pay attention. He's passing the Town Portal. And is there going to be any more kills for the Night Elf? There are not. So, okay, never mind. The Priest has been forgotten here. So, he's going down, and the Warden level 5, that is the big issue currently for Fire. This Warden can make so much happen, and we do see that LiiLD.C is very well capable of microing her to the fullest. And that is a player that so far has been looking, you know, quite terrible in this group stage. Only been able to beat Rob previously. Other than that, losing to Todd, losing to Grubby, losing to Dovak. That just goes to show how good this group is. LiiLD.C, of course, also the very dominant winner of his group in the first season, Group D back then, with players like Insomnia and Mew in there. So yeah, Warden Invisible keeps track of the human army here. 57 supply against 47. The 4 bears by this point. The Naga is coming in once again as well. And this could be a very painful creep check on the side of Fire, who once again is... or, you know, LiiLD.C once again is willingly casting the first Shadow Strike here onto this Mountain King, triggering the spell sheets just to have this opportunity right now to go for the next Shadow Strike, and he doesn't use the heal scroll in time, losing his level 4 Mountain King here. TP is being used by Fire, but that was way too late. Another Sorceress is falling, and Fire completely falling apart all of a sudden, down to 45 supply. He does seems to not be all too pleased about what's been happening here. He does have 45 supply remaining. By this point also a great hero disadvantage again, XP Tome even for the Naga here, so she's level 5 as well. 40 supply for Fire left against 65. The Dryad here apparently doesn't feel like staying alive Warden is blinking forward, Shadow Strike onto the aim. He's just going for the focus fire, and there's no town powder for the aim reaching level 4. But what is he supposed to do? The Warden can just use another Shadow Strike here in a second. Trying to use the staff, but there isn't even the necessity for another Shadow Strike, so I guess the Mountain King is gonna... No, the Mortar team is gonna get that Fog Lightning onto the Mountain King, and Fire really has nothing left standing. GG by him at the end of the day. Well, a couple of creep checks putting LiiLD.C in a very good spot in this game, where he really showed off his skill one last time in this group stage. He did get a decent early game. Of course, the mana potion helped that he found early on. Applied a lot of pressure to Fire with his early mercenaries, archers, and hunts. Ended up, you know, safely getting to tier 3, getting bears out. I think Fire misinvested a little bit in the mid game. He went for a few too many casters, and that really limited his options, because LiiLD.C was just able to swoop in and snipe stuff and fall back, and there wasn't really all too much damage output that Fire had due to his large number of casters. And I think the only reason that this game lasted, or well, one of the reasons this game lasted 20 minutes was when LiiLD.C went for the creep check at Fire's Goblin Merchant and got the bear and the Dryad ensnared and had them killed, and he had to fall back and go for a longer game, because at this point things were looking horrible for Fire. But yeah, he got the chance to creep more. He found some great items. He was allowed to add his workshop and to go for a more well-rounded army, which requires a lot of pre-investments, you know, getting the blacksmith, getting the workshop, getting the arcanes, which is a lot if the human is only on one base. And usually if the Night Elf is able to apply the pressure there and just trade extremely well while the human's army is still small, because he invested so much into these production facilities, then the human shouldn't be able to get into a somewhat comfortable late game. But fortunately for Fire, he was able to do so, because he was able to kill a few of LiiLD.C's units there when he tried to creep check. And still, just in the fights in the later stages of the game, it just was LiiLD.C who was superior, and who ended up, you know, winning the fight at the bottom of his base with like a 10 supply advantage, and then go for the creep check and you know, get even more of an advantage and just win the game in the end clearly. So yeah, group stage is over right now. The last group is done. Grubby clearly on rank 1 here, Todd on rank 2, and Fire ahead of Dovak, even though they are similar in points and map score. Fire on the first playday was able to take down Dovak with 2-0, and therefore he is going to be the 3rd rank of this group, and Dovak is going to be the 4th rank of this group. So yeah, that's all there is to say for this group stage. We're gonna have a recap video next with a little bit of a look back at the entire group stage and a preview of the 4 matches, the 4 playoff best of 5s that are to come between the 2nd ranks and 3rd ranks of the groups. Not the 2nd and the 3rd rank of the same group, but of you know, different groups, and I'm gonna show those drawings in that recap video as well. I hope you'll check that out, and I hope you'll check out the playoffs as well, which are going to come next. And I hope you enjoyed the group stage. I'll see you next time. Take care.